Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the AMP podcast. This is season 2, episode 3. The AMP podcast, guys, is designed for not only agents out there who are starting into the business, but also experienced agents and, of course, the buyers and sellers that are out there in the market. We try to bring you information about real estate, life, cultural subjects, and everything in between. So welcome to the AMP podcast. I'm Mark D'Andrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty, the founder of AMP. And I'm joined today by Justin Humphreys with Humphreys Homes. Good morning, Justin.
Hey, good morning, guys. Justin Humphreys, Humphreys Homes.
And Dana Kitchin, your agent plus. Hello, Dana.
Good morning, Mark. Good morning, everyone.
Thank you for being here. I appreciate you. And Gina Warner, our from Kingdom Realty, our mom
Oh,
of
thanks.
the leadership group.
That makes me feel really old.
Well, I'm
'Cause,
older than you.
Yeah, that's a problem.
So welcome.
About sister.
Welcome, Gina. Welcome, Dana. And Justin, thanks a lot for having us on the podcast. We've been doing this for going on a year now.
Yeah.
Having
I
a
think
bunch
just
of
about,
fun.
yeah.
Yep. Our sponsors are Red One Realty and Vault Title, and we're looking forward to bringing more business their way. Appreciate you guys joining us today. You'll see many of these episodes out on Apple, Spotify,
Podcasts,
iHeart, wherever you get your podcast, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the AMP podcast. So we're looking forward to seeing you guys join us for the weeks and months and years ahead. So
Yeah, and take a look at our YouTube page. You can find us at AMP Network on YouTube. These episodes will also be in video form on there as well. What do we think about this weather we're having right now? It's end of May, and we're all kind of covering in here shivering today.
Okay, so we have horses, and whenever it rains, my wife loves at a training because it's good for the farmers and it produces hay. And after a while, that answer is not sustainable, and I'm tired of it.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
we need sunshine.
We need sunshine.
I do.
I agree.
So start us off, brother. We've got an agenda here to go over.
Yeah, we've got Dana and Gina with us today, who are two of our co-leaders on the AMP team. The only AMP co-leaders that haven't joined us yet on the podcast, so we're very happy to have you guys today. Gina made the
Save the best for last.
Yeah, sorry it took so long.
Gina made the long trek up here from Circleville.
Laurelville, actually.
Laurelville.
Yeah, right on the edge of the Hocking Hills.
Get it right.
Well, we appreciate you being here. Sorry about that. My Southern Ohio geography isn't great,
It's
but
okay.
I'm getting a little bit better at it. And Dana, thanks for joining us today.
Of course.
We've got an A squad here.
We do, without a doubt. Dana,
Mark.
how did you come to get into real estate, and how did you come to join AMP, and why would you hang out with Justin and I and Gina and Malika and Sheila?
Well, I believe, first of all, I love working with you guys and being around you guys, and positivity promotes positivity and engagement. And so that's a big thing for me, too.
Sure.
I got my license in 2021, joined Red One shortly after I got my license. I was with a different brokerage for a few months, and then needed to find a brokerage that offered a mentorship program. I promised my uncle, who is a agent in South Carolina, that after I had struggles for a while, and he said, find a brokerage with a mentorship program. And that's how I found Red One and joined it. And it's completely changed my life and helped me build my business. And I'm very happy to be here.
I'm gonna tell a story about Dana. So if you don't mind,
Go ahead. Yeah.
this was what, two and a half years ago.
In 2022.
So part of AMP for Justin and I and Gina and Dana and the other co-leaders that aren't here at the table is assisting agents to put together a plan, to have a vision and put together a plan. And many of the agents that that get their license, join Red One or other brokerages, they all have this: family, faith, even if it's in yourself, social life, and many of them have work outside of real estate.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you were one of those, so I'll never forget this. I'm in the office. I was downstairs, and Dana comes charging in, and she's got her hands are full of papers and her notebooks and her satchel and everything. She comes bursting in, and I, hey, how you doing? She said, I'm great. She said, I got to talk to you about something. I said, okay, let's talk. She said, look, I've got an opportunity to go on sabbatical for a year. This was probably April of 2023.
2022.
2022. She said, I've got an opportunity to go on sabbatical from my work. She said, I've got 1 year to prove to myself that I can do this. And she had it all planned out. And we talked about her vision, her numbers. And this was, I think we did it from May to May, didn't we? May of 2022 to
Yes, correct.
May. And she had a SMART goal. If I have assisted this number of people, made this amount of gross commissions, my boats are burnt. I'll never forget that. And we kept after it for that year. The business plan that she followed was outstanding. SMART goals all the way. And lo and behold, here she is 3 years later because she was able to replace her income at her job. So
Awesome.
it's a great story. I'm tickled for you.
Thank
and,
you,
and I
Mark.
love recounting that to people.
Yeah,
You want to add anything to that? You can.
No, it's been a great journey. I went to the meetings. I attended all the AMP trainings. I followed the business plan. I followed the coaching platform. And, happy to say it doesn't happen overnight, but it does take time and patience, which I don't have patience. So, with,
Wouldn't know that.
Mark's guidance.
So she's kind of the poster child.
I'm the
for
poster
AMP.
child.
Right.
Yeah.
She
And
is one of the
This is
posters.
awesome.
It's one of those things where you look back and you realize I'm doing the things now that I dreamt that I would be doing back then, right?
Absolutely. My partner Rich said one time here not too long ago, I didn't know how I was going to be able to manage more than one transaction at a time. And this spring, have been put into an unbelievable opportunities to. I had 4 listings at one time, and I crushed it.
Yeah.
So because of AMP, so
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank
You've got
you.
a skill set and you're blessed.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also with us today, Gina, obviously. Gina, I got exposed to you through Mark. I started hearing Mark talk about this wizard of real estate
Jeez.
Yes.
called-
Who was
named
that?
named
No.
Gina, and
Well, Mike Hall talks about it. Mike Hall is our broker, by the way, guys. One of them.
Yeah.
There's 4 of them. Mike Hall talks about Gina like she is, without question, God's gift to real estate, and he's not wrong.
My gosh.
Well,
Y'all
she's
don't
very
have
smart.
enough going on.
No.
in your
no,
lives.
Very
I think
smart.
it's accurate because if I'm ever stumped on something, there's a couple places I look, and you're one of them.
Absolutely.
Because of your experience and skill set in real estate. So, how did your journey bring you to Red One and to AMP?
It's a long story.
Mom,
Well, don't call me that. You're older than I am.
I'm a grandfather. I'm allowed to call you
I'm
mom.
grandmother of 7.
Go ahead.
Down
I
at the
interrupted. I'm
beach.
sorry.
So, at any rate, I worked part-time. I graduated from Ohio State University a long time ago. And when I started raising my kids, I worked part-time so I could be with them at home, when I could homeschool them, which I did homeschool both my kids from K to 12. And after, kind of when they were teenagers, I was transitioning from I worked part-time jobs, office work, things like that. I was working for a construction company at the time, and then the recession of 2007-8 hit, and I got laid off from there. And I was looking for something, 15, 20 hours a week, just making, 12, 15 bucks an hour. And I was telling a friend at church, and she goes, "There's a girl in the bathroom. She's looking for an office assistant." And I was like, "Okay, I'm going to check it out." So I walk in the bathroom, and
It's a fun place for an interview.
I've never heard
I
this
mean, you're at
story.
church, so you
Yeah.
know, you just do what you do.
Right.
And I walk in the bathroom, and there's this lady in there, and I'm like, "Hey, I know you." And she goes, "I know you too." And turns out I had known her from when I was a kindergarten teacher years and years before. I taught a couple of her kids at a private Christian school in Columbus. And I said, "Are you the person that's looking for an office assistant?" And she goes, "Yes, I am. When do you want to start?" And I said, "How about tomorrow?" She goes, "Okay, come to my house." It turns out she lived 5 miles from my house, out in the middle of nowhere. And I went over the next day and started working as her office assistant. She was a real estate agent. She was the only real estate agent doing REO, or bank-owned properties, in Pickaway County at the time. And she had a bunch of them. So
Who is this
her
mystery
name was,
person?
she's not an agent anymore. Jen Walken was her name.
Hi, Jen.
She used to be with.
Thanks for getting Gina started in real estate.
She used to be with Kent Amlin Realty.
Yep.
Kent Amlin, I'm sure you've heard of him. He was in the Grove City area in Harrisburg. So anyways, I started working for her, and then like a year and a half later, she goes, "Oh, by the way, I'm going out of the country on a cruise. Could you get your real estate license so you can manage things while I'm gone?"
Oh, wow.
And honestly, I didn't even have the money to pay for the classes. So I applied for a scholarship with the Columbus Board of Realtors, and lo and behold, I got it.
Wow, that's
and
awesome.
I went and took the classes. That was when you had to go in person. I sat in those poke your eyeball out, boring classes for weeks and weeks.
No offense, Hondros.
No offense. Got my real estate license, and when she left the country, I took over the business and took care of it. She was gone for like 2 weeks. After she came back, and then like a year and a half later, she decided to get out of the business completely, and she sold me her branch office of Kent Amlin Realty. And I operated as Kent Amlin for like 3 years, and then Kent kept telling me, "You better get your broker's license. I'm not going to live forever." Well, this was 2013, 2014. I think he's still being a broker.
Yes, he
and
is.
you know, wonderful man, wonderful. Loved him. He was a great example of how to lead with compassion and fairness. And he treated me very fairly, and I appreciate that. And so anyway, 2014, I got my broker's license and opened my own brokerage called Kingdom Realty. It was myself and my son for a pretty long time, and then other agents just started gravitating. And before I knew what happened, I had like 20 agents working with me.
That's amazing.
So we operated the brokerage for about 10 years. And then in 2023, I mean, I'm a little bit younger than Mark, but still getting up there in the age where I was kind of starting to think about lightening my load. And I had known Mike Hall for an extended period of time, just because of being around the industry, and had probably done a deal with you. And I think I may have done a deal with you in the past. So I began a discussion with Mike about joining Red One, and I actually brought my entire team, my entire company over to Red One in April 2023. And then I think sometime in 2024, ran across this guy over here when I was looking for material to help train my agents. Because training agents was really one of the very most difficult things as a broker. You get agents who don't know anything, agents who are just starting, or maybe have been trained wrong, or even agents that have been agents a while, but they have gaps in their knowledge. And so when I had my own brokerage, I had developed an entire training platform and for them. My own courses, as well as canned courses that I purchased for them, and had my own thing set up. But when I came to Red One, I didn't have access to that anymore, because that was something I had paid for. So I was looking for resources to help train my agents. I got connected with Mark, and he said, "Let me train them for you." So that led to me being involved in AMP with the agents that joined, which were several, and then eventually becoming part of the leadership of AMP. So that brings us to today, and I'm here on this podcast.
Here we are.
Here we are.
And we are thrilled to have you.
Yeah. So it was I tried to condense it.
No, you did a great job, and I didn't know a lot of that, so I'm glad that
Love that story.
and I'm sure that a lot of people listening and watching this are glad to hear it too, because it's a good insight into how some of us just kind of stumble into this thing that becomes
stumbled into it.
our career.
Well, and it's even a little deeper than that. And I give a lot of credit to God for my story, because that girl I met in the bathroom and who I eventually got my license because of, and eventually sold me her branch office, she was also the person who went to work for a fairly large bank in Columbus as a loss mitigator, and gave me all of her bank-owned listings.
Oh, wow.
Sometimes 10 or 20 at a time. She then also was the same person who became the very first local vice president for American Homes for Rent in Central Ohio.
Wow.
And hired me to be her acquisitions broker in 2013, 2014. And over the course of the next 10 years, I literally helped them purchase hundreds of homes. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit more in my discussion of processes down the road. But so meeting that one person, knowing her, having good favor in her eyes as a trustworthy person, it made all the difference.
You want
in
to
my
talk
real
about
estate
networking
career.
being valuable.
Yeah.
That's big.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a good sign too that you did not start your career out as a young person
Right.
in real estate.
No.
Just like I
was
started my
47,
career.
48 years old.
I started my real estate career late. I was 52, I believe, when I started my real estate career.
You're not even older than that now. You
yes.
must be going backwards.
No. You know, after working in the healthcare industry for 35 years and just decided to get my license during the pandemic because I couldn't take that industry anymore.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. I think we saw a big influx of
Absolutely.
of healthcare professionals transition over. We certainly have a lot on AMP.
Absolutely. And I think, too, starting my career later in life, I had an advantage because I had some, life experiences, buying my own house several times and selling a house several times. I had that advantage in learning and skill set to learn. So
Well, in your administrative experience in healthcare, you're our branding queen on the AMP platform.
For
So
sure.
a lot of our agents lean to you for branding and marketing, open house materials, just all the fun stuff where you see your pictures.
that's
and
my
things
ADD
like that.
kicking in and trying to stay organized. So
Dana does all of our logos. We pay for our agents. If they want a logo and they want a tagline, we help them develop one, and she does all of our logos, and we pay for that as an AMP platform. So
Yeah.
there's Justin and Dana and Gina and Mark at the table, and we horribly miss Malika Smith and Sheila Howe. So there are
Absolutely.
6 of us.
Sheila just got back from Africa. We're going to be happy to have her share her stories with us, and
Can't wait for
looking
that.
forward to that. Guys, it's the AMP Podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. We're going to take a quick break so you can hear from our sponsors, Red One Realty and Vault Title, and we'll be right back.
Hi, guys. Mark D'Andrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty and the Agent Mentorship Platform. We wanted to thank our sponsor for today's episode, Red One Realty, located in Westerville at 921 East Wind Drive, Suite 102. Red One Realty is run by 4 outstanding brokers, Mike Hall, Ken Fairchild, Michelle Brooks, and Bob Petty. We get incredible support from them, and we really appreciate their sponsorship of the AMP Mentorship Platform podcast. Guys, if you want to get a hold of anybody at the Red One Brokerage, just email brokermikehall@gmail.com. That's brokermikehall@gmail.com. Thank you, Red One, for sponsoring this episode. We appreciate you. Hope you guys have a great day. Guys, welcome back to the AMP Podcast. Mark D'Andrea, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty. Justin, we have some things we'd like to discuss with our viewing audience, and what are those?
Well, you guys know segment 2 is our AMP action plan, where each of us leaders here at the table is going to talk about 1 or 2 tips or tools that we feel you can deploy in your business to improve your business. So we've all got things that we're good at, things we specialize in. But Mark, today you wanted to talk about how agents can use math to assist their buyers to understand that they have the ability to purchase a home where they might think they don't.
Yes. So we, around the table, we know that purchasing a home is a very emotional experience for folks. Get that completely. We want our buying clients to pull up to their home every day and love being home. So I get that. Part of the reason that newer agents struggle with their buying clients is that our buying clients have many, many reasons, and they have a vision for their buying journey, and down payment, the amount they have, interest rates, what are those? How does it affect my payment? I'd love to see housing prices come down. So these are all, to my mind, emotional reactions to our market. We all know at this table that interest rates and inventory does not drive our market anyway. It's all about timing. You talked about timing with your friend and all those karmatic moments that come up. So Math, Justin, is very important for our buying and selling clients to understand. So let me give you an example, and then we'll get off of this. At today's interest rate, which let's just call it 6 3/4, there's a rate factor that you can apply to every $1,000 of your mortgage or your down payment. It's about $6.65. So every $1,000 of down payment only affects your payment by $6.65. If we can help our buying clients understand that purchasing a home is truly about the math, help them understand more about the financing behind a home, and educate them on the math, many more of our buying clients will be able to obtain their vision and obtain their goal of buying a home much sooner than they think. I'll end with this. It is extraordinarily difficult to keep up with the market. You have clients that want to save more down payment money. Okay, that's $6.65 a thousand. You're going to have to save many thousands of dollars to get ahead of the market to make any difference. So, guys, if you're out there and you're starting a real estate business, or if you're an experienced agent, come join us, audit a class, learn the math behind buying a home. It's critical.
I definitely talk about the math whenever I have a consultation. I love having home buying consultations, and that's one of the first things I dive into is the math, mainly the cost, upfront cost, out-of-pocket cost, closing cost, and monthly payment, down payment type of conversations as well.
And you can extrapolate that out. We've got lenders that can assist our buying clients with down payment assistance and grant programs. It is incumbent upon us as expert real estate agents to make those things clear to our buying clients. It's an educational process. We're wanting to be of assistance. So math is critical, and I think if we can all focus on that, more of our buying clients will understand the process better, and they'll be able to purchase a home much sooner than they think.
So agents out there, use the math to help your clients understand that they can buy a home and that it's not impossible.
Right.
And that even though it's a competitive market, we can make it happen.
Here's how we like to say it. You're not going to be introduced to, if it's a lender relationship that we have, you're not going to be introduced to any lender that we're going to introduce you to who's going to say you can't buy a house. That lender's going to say, you can buy a home under these circumstances. Absolutely. And that's the message because it's true.
Yeah.
So anyway, Justin.
Yeah. So
Facebook ads.
Facebook ads. So my AMP action tool for this episode, I wanted to talk about Facebook ads. Something we train a good bit on. Sheila and I both have effective Facebook ad campaign methods that we train on. I like to do boosted ads for my listings and for other agents' listings that are in areas that I think will garner attention. And Farzine, one of our AMP agents, has a listing in Columbus, a duplex, an investment property for a client of his.
360 Hossack. Check it out.
360 Hossack Street, if you want to go on Zillow and take a look at it. So Farzine was interested in Facebook ads, and we sat down at the office and put an ad campaign together for him. I think it was 14 days for $35. And
Very good.
the 8th lead just came in this morning for that ad since it's been up and running, which has only been a few days. So Facebook ads are effective. On the AMP platform, we have tons of training videos already in the Circle platform, which shout out Gina. That's her brainchild, the Circle platform. You can go on there and watch the video and start running your Facebook ads tomorrow. And for a relatively low cost, you can start generating your own leads and not have to be dependent on sites like Zillow or Realtor.com for those leads to come in. So.
And these are, to my understanding, these are warmer than your typical leads because you have some control over who sees them. Is that accurate?
Yeah, it's a geographically targeted ad that blankets a radius around the property. And so people are going on and submitting their contact information to be reached out to. So when you folks out there listening and those of us at the table, you know how it is talking to leads sometimes. They can be kind of
hit or miss.
Yeah, they can be cold sometimes. So those ones are a little bit warmer. And Farzine's, for $35, he's got 8 or 9 new people in his Bold Trail database, and hopefully a potential buyer for that listing as well. So
Absolutely love that. Dana.
I was
I'm
just
sorry, go
going to
ahead.
say I did a similar thing from my listing in Washington Courthouse recently, and I think I pulled 10 leads off of that for $69.
Yeah.
And I gave them all to AMP agents because I don't really need to work with buyers over there, but I had other agents that wanted to, so
Yeah.
I just handed them off. And that's another thing that we do as AMP leaders is we will pass some of those leads and working with us and co-oping with us and different things on to the agents to help them get a step up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love it.
One of
So,
the many benefits of being an AMP agent.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Pay it forward.
Gina,
Yes, sir.
transaction timeline checklist for your process. What is your coaching tip?
My coaching tip would be to, number one, utilize this amazing transaction timeline that we have as an AMP tool. So that's located in our Circle platform, or you can get it from any of us. And it's basically a checklist. If you've never seen it, it's phenomenal. It's a step-by-step checklist of what to do when you put a house in contract. What do you do first? What do you do next? Who do you make sure you contact? What people need to be connected? All those are just like a step-by-step checklist. And I love that checklist. And I've used different versions of a checklist like that across the years, even before I encountered that one. And in fact, when I was working with some of these big institutional investors and doing literally hundreds of deals a year, I survived by checklists. I just couldn't survive any other way. I had a checklist for everything. If I need to evaluate a new property, it has a checklist, and the 10 steps are right there on that list. If I need to list a new property, I worked a lot, as I said, with institutional investors, and they have very strict, stringent guidelines of the way they want things, down to the file nomenclature. They have to have, space, dash, space, address, comma, city. I mean, it's very detailed. So I needed to have a checklist of all those things. So I have an institutional investor I'm working with right now, selling homes in Cleveland. I think I'm on like my 10th or 12th one up there. And I have a checklist for the property valuation. I have a checklist for the listing process. I have a checklist for when they get an offer, so an offer checklist. I have a checklist for when they go in escrow, and I have a closing checklist. So I have 5 different checklists to work with that one client, but I'm repetitively doing this process. So when I figured out the process, I put it in a checklist. That way I never have to figure it out again, and I don't have to remember it. So I am all about checklists and timelines and ways to make your job easier, that you can just crank right through something. If you've ever done it more than once, you should have a checklist for it.
Absolutely.
So it's interesting that we're all talking about, you came out of the corporate world, you came out of hospitality. You've kind of been buried in real estate in different fashions for many years, and so have I. We're running our own businesses, and that is the most significant. I can't overstate that.
Right.
This is something that you've got to drive. You have to find those processes that make your business run smoother, more effortlessly, and that's a big dadgum deal.
My whole day is on a checklist. I have a checklist for my day, so all the I have like 12 or 15 tasks on there. Anywhere where you can put a system, a process in place, a checklist to make sure you're doing what you need to do, it helps you. It's just like having a goal in front of you too, because it feels good to check it off. Yeah, it's a completed task. It gives you a little bit of that dopamine boost from getting it done. And those checklists, are they available on Circle?
The checklist that we have for the transaction timeline for AMP, definitely available on Circle.
Yeah, so if you're watching this and you're on the AMP platform, go to Circle, go to our checklists and documents tab, and you definitely use that transaction timeline, because I feel the transaction timeline, it's something I send out to all the parties as soon as we go into contract, like it says in our checklist, and it keeps everybody on the same page. It gets the ball rolling. Gets everybody off on the right foot right as soon as you go into contract. So I think it's really valuable.
I think especially as a new agent you get a little bit nervous when you first go into contract, whether you're on the buyer side or seller side, and you're not really sure what to do next. I've had new agents call me and reach out to me and say, okay, now my contract's been accepted. Now what do I do? And the first thing I do is I say, let's get you the transaction timeline and follow that. And I've actually had, I cover the Dayton market as well as the Columbus market, so things are much different there, maybe as they are in other MLSs as well. But I actually had a title company reach out to me and say, I'm not sure where you learned this process, but it's unbelievable because you've just sent me all the contacts for the lender, the buyer's, agent, the buyer's contact, and your process is very streamlined, and we appreciate that upfront communication from the day one.
Yeah.
And I think, we are in this, business to build relationships and partnerships with title companies and lenders. And I think being out there and being like top of the line agent really sets the stage for your business in the future.
Yeah.
So for those agents listening to this with other brokerages, reach out to Justin or Gina or Dana or myself, and let's talk about you joining Red One and joining the AMP platform. There you go. Shameless plug. Dana, you want to talk about Google reviews.
Absolutely. So, part of our everyday life, whether we're in real estate, whether we're in social media, whether we're in whatever business we're in, everybody who's buying something, whether it's on Amazon, or that's a good plug for Amazon too, regardless of what you're purchasing or buying or doing, everybody goes to Google because they want to see a Google review. They want to know what this product's offering and how well they are and what kind of reviews they got. So make this is your business, so you want to make sure that you're getting reviews, so when someone pulls your name up, they say, wow, this person did a great job, and that's when they're going to hire you as their agent, whether it's a listing agent or a buyer's agent. So what you really want to do is to prepare your clients ahead of time, meaning if you're working with a buyer or a seller, prepare them ahead of time. If they give you a nice compliment throughout the process, say, hey, thank you for that nice compliment, but I'm going to ask you for a Google review at the end of this transaction. And that's how I get a lot of my clients, is from referrals. And I would love it if you could just give me a great Google review. And to do that, prepare your clients ahead of time that you're going to give them a Google review and make it easy for them. Send them a link, whether it's via text or email, or even, I do this too after I send my clients I always get my clients a closing gift, but even a few weeks after closing, I always send them a little thank you card in the mail, because just like Justin, I love like handwritten cards and notes thanking my clients, for trusting me through the process. And then I send them a little, in that thank you card, I have a QR code that they can directly scan on their phone and do my their review of me, whether it's good or bad. I love, feedback, whether it's, positive or, critical. I want them to give me the review because I want to be able to learn too. And making it easy for the client to do that review. That's really important. So absolutely.
Yeah, I love getting those reviews. That's like
absolutely
just as much as I love closing the deal, and I love getting and reading and going
it's
back
not just
and
from
looking
clients.
at those.
It's not just from your buyer or seller clients. If you work with a lender really closely, ask them to do a review on you. Same thing, and give it back. Say, hey, like, I loved working on this transaction with you. You really got us to the closing table, whether it's the lender, the title company, or even, a home warranty company. Ask them for review and just say, hey, I'll give you a review back as well, because you did a great job with my client. So often if you, put that out there, they'll do a review as well. So that sometimes you can get multiple reviews off of one transaction from your client and then the vendors you worked with.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to put Stephen on the spot. We just now went through 4 actionable coaching tips. Stephen, what did you learn from us today? Anything?
I like hearing checklists.
Yeah.
I mean, as a business owner, standard operating procedures, like you have to get the checklist in order, and that way you can scale, right?
Yeah.
You can pass that on to other agents, other employees, and otherwise it's all just stuck up in your own brain, and first you can make mistakes and it's stuck there, and you can't just like pass it on to other people easily.
That's right.
I appreciate that input. So one of the mantras on the AMP platform, then we'll get you moved on. 60% of our effort is spent communicating and connecting, growing trust and nurturing. To the checklist point that Stephen made, and to your coaching tip, Gina, 10-15% of your effort is spent getting a buyer or seller through a transaction, and it's because you are very proficient at that.
Yeah.
That seems to be diametrically opposite of what agents initially think, right? Hey, I've got this client. I care tremendously about them. I owe them accountability, confidentiality, obedience, loyalty, disclosure. I want to focus on getting them through this transaction, and that's my focus. That's what I'm in business for. It's not. I mean, we become proficient at that process so that it's not something that takes a lot of effort, because you've got buyers and sellers and title people and lenders, and that has to be a solid team in order for that to go smoothly. So that's a great point.
So what you're saying is the checklist keeps that 10, 15% of your business. It makes it efficient.
It's efficient, and it should be effortless.
Yeah.
Well, and that word scalable.
Yes.
mean, I there was one time when I was working for that institutional investor, I had 60 properties in contract at once.
Wow.
Good golly.
Yeah. And it was just me, and I had one part-time assistant. And there's no way I could have done that
administrated
without the proper checklist.
Yeah.
I mean, I had massive spreadsheets, and when I need the next time I need to call the title company, and when this one closes, and when the inspection period's over, man, I was hyper organized. And sometimes I look back now, and that was like 10 years ago, and I wonder if I could still do it today, because as you age,
I think
Sure you
things
could.
start to slip away, and
come on.
and really, I don't want to spend 60% of my time trying to remember what it is I'm supposed to be doing. The checklist keeps me from having to guess or remember or figure things out multiple times, because as we get old, our forgetters start kicking in, and we don't remember things as quickly and succinctly as we once did. So having those checklists and documents in place to just crank right through the transaction are key for me.
Love that. So great coaching tips from some of the co-leaders of AMP. Again, this is the AMP podcast, sponsored by both Red One and Vault Title. Justin, take us into our next section.
All right, guys. Next up, we have the Agent Spotlight, sponsored by Vault Title. And we have some agents on our AMP platform that we want to highlight and say some nice things about. So, Mark, who did you have in mind today to give a shout out to on the AMP platform?
Laura Kosha started with AMP. It would have been...
Love her.
Yeah, she's great. It's either March or April of 2022, I think. I forget. And Laura is a nurse. She spent her life taking care of other people in the healthcare industry. And one of the strengths of the agent mentorship platform is it's designed to, this is not a good word, but to allow for the fact that people have lives.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a family, they have a social life, they have a faith. Many have work outside of real estate. And there's no way that any of us as leaders would ask someone to leave what it is that they are feeding their family with just to, hey, let's just go all real estate all the time. So Laura has done an outstanding job. 2 daughters, both play golf. Her husband's in the title industry. So her world is imbued with real estate anyway. But she's done a great job juggling that career with family and also being a very successful real estate agent. So shout out to Laura Kosha. Well done. Brian, thanks for supporting her. That's her husband. Great job, and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Absolutely. Shout out to Laura Kosha. My AMP agent spotlight today, I wanted to highlight and talk about our friend Khadijah Ghazali. Khadijah is a very fun, energetic agent on our AMP platform.
A whirlwind, man.
Yeah, she always brightens up the room. She's always a fun time to have around. And man, she does a lot of good business as well.
Mm-hmm.
She's very ingrained in her Somali community and helps a ton of buyers out. An agent that has an enormous following on social media and really leverages that to help her business. So shout out Khadijah Ghazali.
Well done, Khadijah. Gina.
Yes, I would like to shout out for Grant Coolwine. So Grant is one of the agents that came with me from Kingdom Realty over to Red One. Grant had just been licensed about a year, so he got his license and I trained him. He was like the last agent that I one-on-one personally trained as part of Kingdom Realty, and came with me to Red One. And the thing about Grant, the few things that are unique about him is when he was a farm boy. So the only thing he had ever done was work on the farm with his dad. They own hundreds of acres of land down in Pickaway County, huge farming family, his dad and grandpa, and he had only ever worked on the farm. And when he graduated high school, which he was homeschooled, So another uniqueness, because the homeschoolers don't often have a huge network because they haven't, been in the public school and met a ton of people. But he decided he wanted to try real estate. His uncle, whose name was Phil Kraus, was actually a real estate agent and a member of our team. And
I didn't know Phil was his uncle.
Phil is Grant's uncle. So yeah, pretty fun connection there. But because of Phil, that's why Grant started thinking about real estate. And so Grant got his license and came to me, and I trained him. And the thing about Grant is he's naturally a shy guy. And but he's an introvert, but he has pushed himself out of his comfort zone over and over and over again. And one of the first things he wanted to do when he got licensed and started working in real estate, got a little training under his belt, was he wanted to do video. So he had some video experience and audio technical experience.
You've seen his stuff.
They're amazing.
His stuff on
is
Facebook,
funny.
it's funny.
It's funny.
For being an introvert, he's
and
the most.
It catches your eye, and you watch
know.
the whole thing. You look forward to his videos.
Check him out on Facebook.
He literally just had some experience because of working with his church and his homeschool group, and but he had a talent. He had a knack for that, and he took that skill and he capitalized on it, and he started going out calling agents, not only Red One agents, but he was with Kingdom for a year, so we didn't even have that access to all the Red One agents. And I think it's so cool how we can advertise their listings. But he would just call up other agents in the community from other brokerages and say, could I do an open house on your house? And can I do a video? Can I create content? Wow. And he took the initiative to create his own content and just called up agents he didn't even know and walked into these houses and shot these cool videos and put them out there. And, he's definitely improved a lot over time, but he wasn't afraid to go out there and do it and, make himself even look ridiculous.
Yeah, stumble
forward and learn. And his videos now are so much more polished and better than they were, but he just put himself out there and 100%. So he's in his third year, licensed, I believe, and he is capped or very within a few $100s of
doing
capped.
Really well.
He's in the rev share program, and he's paid in his cap for this year. I think he rolled over in January or December. So the rest of the year, he's going to get 100% commission. He's super excited. He's got a brand new baby.
Yes,
and,
Nessie.
His name is Ness, Ernest, and they call him Ness. And Grant is the sole provider of his family. His wife is staying at home with the kids. And so, that's a lot of pressure on a 22-year-old, 21-year-old guy. He might be a little bit older than that.
But he knows what he has to do.
He knows what he has to do,
yes.
and he's willing to do it. And that's one thing that I see so frequently with agents, especially from the younger generation. They kind of wait around for someone to tell them what to do. And Grant didn't do that. Grant said, I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try this, and I'm going to try this, and see what works. And he got out there and he did something, and he still does. Every day, we have an office in Circleville for our group, and every day he's in the office spending the time getting in there, producing video, calling people. He writes letters. He writes personal notes. I see them all over the office all the time. And so, he's at it every day, putting in the time. And that's one thing that I feel like a lot of agents, newer agents, don't really understand is that you have to put in the time. And even though you're not sure what to do, let us know. We'll help you figure out what to do, what steps you can take to put in the time to start building your business.
Not to mention, I'm sorry, Mark, go ahead. Not to mention that Grant is always involved in some kind of community event. He's done so many great community events.
Yeah.
And I think he really is the pillar of strength for that generation within our group.
Yeah.
Because if you're, a new agent that's younger, like you said, Grant just took the initiative, and he would be a great also co-mentor, I guess you could say, because he's a great.
Well, and he is just kind of one of those guys that people look to for leadership naturally, because he joined the Sunrise Rotary. Within 6 months of the time that he joined, they targeted him for the next president. So 3 years from now, he's going to be the president of the Sunrise Rotary in Circleville.
So new agents are short on money and patience.
Yeah.
Grant is not short on patience at all.
Yeah.
He has exercised tremendous patience with himself, with us, as his coaches. So shout out to Grant. Well done.
Shout out to Grant.
That's a good one. Dana, who you got?
So I got Joe Wood, or we all know him as Woody. So Joe, he was one of these guys. I've known Joe for about over 20 years, of family friend of mine, and he met with me, I guess it would have been October of 23, and said, I think I want to get my real estate license. He had been working for the corporate world for many years and was also kind of burned out and ready for a change. So he met with me in October. I kind of told him my journey, and he saw my journey. And man, that next week he dove right into it. He signed up for his classes and got his license in about 7 weeks, 6 or 7 weeks, very quickly. He got his license, joined Red One immediately, joined AMP immediately, and the Rev Share program immediately, and has done nothing but push forward. I mean, he's done all the classes, he went to all the trainings, and for similar to like Grant, Joe's a pretty shy guy. Doesn't just real soft spoken, doesn't get out there too much. But I applaud him for doing such a great job. He's constantly posting on social media. Gotta love his dad jokes. I mean, that's kind of a thing that he brought out, and everyone looks forward to his dad jokes. Even my mom, who follows him on social media, she's like, Joe is so funny. I'm like, I know he is. But then also like getting out there and doing videos, like you said, it's when you're a shy person, that's kind of hard to do. But he's definitely stepped outside of his comfort zone. He's made some great connections with some great clients. He's from the Dublin area. In more recent years, he's from, I believe, your hometown, right? Is it Steubenville?
He has a family connection.
Family connection to Steubenville, yeah.
We've spoken about that a couple times.
But he got a lot of friends from Dublin. That he's made a lot of connections. Sends out tons of messages on Facebook, and has got a lot of clients that way. And he kind of set his mind to what he was going to do and what he wants to do with this real estate business. And same thing. He keeps pushing forward, and I can't applaud him enough because he's really done a great job. He also is into cars. He's a classic cars, and he's a hot rod guy, which I'm a daughter of a hot rod dad myself, so I love that connection that we have. And so he's kind of intertwined his real estate business with his car business. So he's actually he connected me with a guy in the Dayton area, because Joe doesn't do the Dayton market, but there's a big car show coming up in July that Joe's going to, and he's going to be taking his car there. And I've now signed up as a sponsor for the car show as the only real estate agent at the car show.
Love it.
So I'll have a booth there. But he made that connection with me because, they wanted a local to the Dayton area agent. So Joe's a great guy, and, just really has learned a lot from AMP. And I know he's very grateful to our program and the brokerage, and he's a great dude.
Joe actually beat you guys onto the podcast because he was here. Flashback to episode 2. He was here with Sheila. Yeah. We had a fun time. Him and Mark talked about cars a lot, and
he's a great dude.
We got to hear a little bit of Joe's background and how he got into the business.
And he has these crazy car condos. Like I never heard of a car condo
until
I met.
What a great idea.
Yeah, so if you're looking for a place to store your hot rod or boat or RV,
and you can actually work on them there.
You can actually work on them there. Yeah, work on them. You can. It's also could be used for storage, but a lot of those guys, they work on their hot rods there, and they kind of have a little bit of a collaboration with each other, and
they have a little
network, and they have a clubhouse there and car shows on the weekends, and it's kind of cool up in Powell, up on Home Road. So yeah,
love it.
I think one thing that we've seen that all these people have in common is that they've taken some natural inclination or something they're interested in and combined it with real estate. Working in a niche where you feel comfortable with. Joe loves his hot rods, and he's focused on that area. Grant has taken his video skills and used them. Khadijah, the social media following that she has, and I think just we try to help AMP agents find that special talent, that unique thing that they like or care about, and combine that with real estate. So
love it.
Very helpful.
All right. Well, that was a good segment of Agent Spotlight, sponsored by Vault Title. Next, guys, we're going to move into segment 3, which is called Ask the Coach. So all of the 4 co-leaders and the other co-leaders that aren't here with us, we get questions from agents every day. Whether be about transactions or marketing or networking. So we each are going to take the opportunity to talk about maybe a fun question that's come up in the past, couple days or week or whatever. Gina, we'll start with you.
Okay.
You had an agent that had questions about how much do we write, or how intricate do we get with these additional terms and conditions we put in our contracts?
Yeah, I get questions from agents a lot of times because I kind of specialize in contracts and training on that. I get questions of, well, I want to write in this term where my buyer does this if the seller does that. And then if the seller does this and the buyer does that, then this will happen. And the first thing I do is slow your roll. That's the first thing I say. Okay, slow your roll. What are you trying to accomplish here? What is, they give me this convoluted thing and I'm like, what do you really want to do here? And we try to narrow it down and put it in some more clear terms. But I also, just a big plug for the Columbus Board and Red One and AMP, are residential clauses that we use. So there's a whole series, a white paper, if you will, of clauses that you can use that have been already approved by real estate brokers and already approved by real estate attorneys that are the proper verbiage to make this happen or that happen. Home sale contingency, or you got to find a home to purchase first, or buyer's closing costs, or as is with inspections, as is with no inspections, as is with the right to terminate. There's so many different options, but first I'll direct my agents when they ask these questions to, okay, is there something here that you can use that will fit the situation? If not, then my encouragement is always to write it in plain language. Don't use these and thous and wherefores and howsos, because
We're not attorneys.
We're not attorneys, and we can actually get in trouble for trying to act like an attorney.
That's
or
right.
write like an attorney. And I always tell people, I am not an attorney and I don't play one on TV. So this is my best advice as an individual, but I'm not responsible for this legally. But write in plain, simple English. Don't use big fancy words. Keep it as brief as possible and succinct. But if you get into a situation where you really need something longer or more intricate, and it's not covered in the residential common clauses, and it's not something you can put in simple terms, then reach out to a broker or a leader or an attorney to get the proper verbiage for that, so you don't get yourself or your client into trouble.
That's a great one.
Real good one.
And for those of you out there listening, you can, if you're an AMP agent, you can go to Circle under our checklist and documents tab. You can find that standard purchase contract clauses sheet that Gina was referring to, or you can go to red1agent.com and find it under the Columbus Resources tab there as well.
Yes.
Dana, you had a question from an agent about keeping your transactions organized and moving forward. So what was the question and what's your process there?
Well, the question I've had, and actually this kind of goes back to, what we talked about earlier about checklist and transaction timelines. So honestly, you have to be organized, whether it's with checklists, spreadsheets, a handwritten checklist, however works with your brain, your mind, because if you don't have a checklist or any kind of organized files, I have clear folders for all of my transactions as they're currently working. You have to keep a running tab, because if you don't, you're going to stumble. And then next thing you know, oh, I don't know who I should call next or what I should do next. And the next thing you know, you're getting a title company calling you or a lender calling you, missing something, and now you're delayed with closing. And nobody wants a delayed closing, whether it's a lender or a client or that's your commission depends on it. You don't want a delayed closing. So I do have people all the time ask me, how do you keep them organized? I make sure that my dot loop folders are organized, and that I am a stickler about that. I do not like messy, overfull dot loop folders, and I'm sure admin does not like them either. And
with file names that are like 0, 7, 1, 8.
Yes, and I have to keep all those
click on it 40
neat
times
and tidy. And I would love to do a training on dot loop folders and how to keep those organized, because mine are perfection. I might pat myself on the back for that, but they are.
If I could reach you, I would.
Yes, I know. But I really think keeping organized is what's going to keep you less stressed, especially if you are a person that gets very anxious and nervous, and this is your first transaction or your fifth transaction. I mean, every transaction I've had has had a hiccup. I'm just going to say that out loud because this is our industry, and I'm finally able to conquer those myself, but I still have questions. But if I was not organized, I would not know what I was doing. So I think organization is my best, the biggest questions that I get from agents.
So I heard dot loop, bold trail are important to you. And I think I heard you say you create a folder on your desktop for your clients.
Yeah, I have folders on my desktop, but I also have on my desktop computer, but I also have all of the documents in like clear folders. I keep clear actual folders on my desk.
I love that.
On my actual desk, because I am a visual person, so I have to be able to see that.
I have vanilla folders for all my clients. I feel old when I say it, but
I do as well, and I keep them right here.
Yep,
and
absolutely.
They're lined up so I can see them, because every day when I come in, I'm like, okay, that deal has a goal in it. Just do a mental checklist every day.
Absolutely.
Is there anything I need to do with any of those right now? I also add those key dates to my calendar.
Yes.
So they're popping up on me, and I'm like,
and
oh yeah,
that all circles back to the transaction timeline that we
Yes.
spoke so much about at the top of the episode as well. It's a big part of
Absolutely.
that.
And keeping I worked with an agent several months ago and had to really sit down with this agent and kind of do some one-on-one Zooms to really help clean up the dot loop. Because if your dot loop, your listing folder has like 55 documents in it, you only need like 10 of them. They didn't really understand how to archive documents. And I think, when you first get your license and you go to the boot camp and you do the dot loop training, you've never done a transaction. Right. So you're like, I don't even know what I'm doing. And this is like foreign language to me. Yeah. So, when you're in a transaction for the first time, have us help you. We do not want you to go into this by yourself, nervous and scared, because we don't want you to fail. We want to help you. So any of us leaders would be happy to do a Zoom call with you and kind of go through and really show you how to tweak those folders and make sure they look good, and admin will thank you later.
And it's not just that of keeping it organized for the sake of organization and stress, but it also could save you money, because I've had more than one instance where I made a mistake, and maybe it was because I was not organized, or maybe it wasn't. But, mistakes can cost you money. If you are supposed to order the termite inspection and you don't do it, and they get to the day before closing and they want the receipt for the termite inspection and you never took care of it, then you're going to be ordering a termite inspection. And if there are termites, you're going to be probably paying for the termite treatment. Not speaking from an experience or anything like that. And so, keeping those things in mind are really important. Or those various iterations of the same document in dot loop are just a nightmare. Yeah. And one time I sent the wrong iteration. Like, I sent a partially signed one that I actually thought was the fully executed. When something is completely signed, I write fully executed contract package.
Same here.
Because I never want to have to open that document again to figure out what it is.
Yes,
I know exactly what it is. But I sent the client the wrong iteration of the contract. She said, "Can I get a copy?" And I sent her the wrong one from dot loop. It was one that was only signed by one of the parties, and it had a different possession date than what was actually agreed upon in the final fully executed contract. So what ended up happening was I paid for 2 weeks in an Airbnb for these folks, because I was responsible for the miscommunication of them having to actually not get into their house as quickly as they thought. So, I mean, when you make mistakes, and you will, be honest, own up to it, and take responsibility, even if it drains all the commission you made, which that one clearly drained the commission. But about 3 years later, she called me back. And I said, "I'm so surprised that you called me back to sell your house after what we went through, and the mistake that I made." And she goes, "Actually, that's the reason I did call you back, because I knew that even if a mistake was made, you would always take care of me." And so she called me back, and she referred me to her mom and her brother, and always do the right thing and take responsibility. I'm sorry, I kind of hijacked
advice.
I hijacked your thing.
No, that's okay. We talk about it all the time that there's AMP. We try to help our agents avoid those mistakes and work our way into it. But Mike Hall said it great on a coaching call a few Tuesdays ago. He said, people expect to walk into this business and for it to be easy because of what you see on TV.
Yeah.
It's not.
And it's not. And you're going to slip and fall sometimes, but that's one of the purposes of AMP is to help agents slip and fall a little bit less and have it happen a little bit less frequently and know what to do when it does happen.
And not feel like you're not alone.
Be there to
Yeah.
pick them up.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Love it.
Mark, you had a question. Somebody asked you about how important social media profiles were.
Yes. So when we are coaching AMP agents, we have a very specific set of coaching tools. There's 22 of them. One of them is building your profiles online. And it's a lot of fun when you first get started with an agent to just Google their name, Justin Humphreys Realtor, to see what comes up on the first page of Google. And when we coach our AMP agents and talk them through setting up a Google business profile, setting up a Yelp business profile, setting up your Realtor.com agent profile, setting up your Zillow.com agent profile. You already have Facebook, right? Right, got that. And you, of course, when you join Red One, you get your own website. It's fun to search their name, coach them through that, let a few weeks go by, and let the internet do its thing, and search their name again and watch how they dominate that first page. It is a lot of fun. And the juxtaposition to that is I'll show them my name or your name or your name or your name, and you guys all dominate the first page of Google. So the short answer is yes, Justin, we should have social media profiles.
Absolutely.
Social media is... it's interesting. I won't get into it too heavily, but social media for real estate agents is a platform through which you should grow your business in addition to being social. So, yes.
And we have tons of agents that leverage their social media very effectively to
Without a doubt.
develop clients and transactions. We talked about Joe Wood, his Facebook presence, his dad jokes. We talked about Google reviews, how important those are. We talked about Facebook ads. A lot of people do well on LinkedIn. Khadijah, we gave her a shout out. She has a huge following on Snapchat. So these profiles are a great way for people to find you and for you to be visible.
It
And
takes an hour to get them all built.
Yeah.
And if you're a new agent and just joining AMP, go onto Circle and you can actually search it. We have a whole section, step-by-step guidelines for every single profile and how to reach out, how to build that for you. So very easy.
All right, guys, we're going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from one of our sponsors, and we'll be right back. Hey, folks, Justin Humphreys Homes at Red One Realty and AMP platform at Red One Realty. Want to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Vault Title. Whether you are a buyer, a seller, an agent looking for support, Vault Title is top notch when it comes to title services. For buyers and sellers, they're going to take care of your title insurance policies. They're going to make sure all your documents are done. Make sure that the money is transacted between the two parties correctly. If you're an agent out there, Vault Title, reach out to Carly Lear. She's going to help you with all your marketing material, open houses, geo farming. So if you need anything from Vault Title, please give them a shout out. Their number is 614-324-2580 is their phone number. And you can also reach them at team@vault-title.com. So Vault Title for all your Central Ohio and beyond title needs.
Welcome back to the AMP podcast. I'm Mark Dandre, the Doctor of Real Estate with Red One Realty. I have Gina Warner, Dana Kitchin, and Justin Humphreys around the table. Justin, you have the Market Pulse.
Yeah, so we've got our Market Pulse, sponsored by Red One Realty. We're going to talk about interest rates, inventory, and days on market really quickly, just to give everybody a recap. So right now, interest rates were up over, it is today, May 28th. Interest rates were up over 7% over the past couple of days. They've just trickled back down to about 6.97. Not a lot of, that 7 seems to be a benchmark thing that people talk about, but over the past 6 to 8 months, they've been between 6.5 and 7.25. So not a lot of change there.
I've got lenders that can do 5.99% up to 6.5%. So who knows? 4,400 houses on the market. I am tickled to share that.
Yeah.
Any given month, last year, year before, between 2,000 and 2,400, back and forth. We've now got 4,400 houses on the market. Guys, that is a good thing. The market is adjusting. It is not a seller's market. It is not a buyer's market. It's just the market, 4,400 houses.
Yeah, and working with buyers, I mean, you can take a little bit of a breath right now, make some, you don't have to go crazy.
Days on market is still around between 14 and 36.
Yeah, for those rural areas, things move a little bit slower, right around 30 days, 35 days. In your more sought after neighborhoods around Ohio, we're seeing things move as quickly as 14 days, 7 days on market. So
love it.
Fluctuates quite a bit. But.
Love the market.
All right, guys, it is segment number 4. This is Mindset Matters, where each of us leaders here at the table is going to talk about, this is where we talk a little bit more psychologically about the real estate industry and our careers. And, any kind of mindset tip, any kind of psychological tip or trick that we have. Mark, you had on here the June reset, and I was really curious to hear about what that is.
Well, we're business owners, right? So we have a January through December calendar, basically. Spring, busy. Summer, busy. Fall is busy. So is winter. All of the seasons of the year in Ohio, you can consistently run your business without the ups and downs. It's important for agents who are understanding that, hey, I drive the business doesn't drive me, to just take a breath and do a reset in June. Maybe you do it quarterly, but certainly if you set a vision, and we all around this table set a vision for what 2025 is going to bring to our families as it relates to real estate, and we train and coach our agents to do the same thing. It's important that if your vision this year was $100,000 in commissions, well, we're halfway through. If you're not there, reset. Look at what you've done marketing-wise, what it's resulted in. Check out your ROI, fancy term for return on investment.
What's working and what's not.
Working and what's not. Yeah. And just take a breath and reset, right? School's out for most kids. Summertime's here. Vacations are starting to get planned. Families tend to focus on family and vacation. Reset. If you're not there, reset. If you're there, reset anyway. Focus on the balance of the year. So do a June reset, guys. It's important for you to just step back, take a breath, see what's gotten you where you are, and make those adjustments and move forward. You are a business owner. Reset. Do a June reset.
I love the June reset idea. Great way to recap what you've done, what's working, what's not.
Yep.
Gina, you wanted to talk about focusing on relationships and not commissions, which we all, I'm sure, agree with at this table.
That.
Yeah. I mean, you've all heard the old saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And if you listened to my story earlier, it was that one person that I met in a bathroom at church that literally changed my real estate life and really my life, because when you have that much success, financially, it makes a big difference in everything you do in your life. And it definitely helped my husband and I get out of a situation that was not good debt-wise. And just, that's a whole nother day, another story. But focusing on relationships is the most important thing, one of the most important things you can do as a real estate agent, because, you don't just want to look at what can this person do for me, but it's be authentic and genuine in your interest for other people. There's a saying that says, interesting people are interested. So if you, as a real estate agent, can express interest in someone else's life, they will consider you to be an interesting person because you care about them. And if you express that care and concern and relationship in an authentic manner, and you truly build a relationship with them, that'll be something that will benefit your business over the course of the rest of your life as you maintain that relationship. But if we focus on relationships, the commissions will come. The deals will come. Other relationships will come if we focus on relationships rather than, how am I going to get my next paycheck? Who's the next person I can connect with? So that's my tip for today. Mindset.
Love that tip.
Love that.
Your network is your net worth.
Oh yeah.
When we talk,
or the opposite.
It works both ways.
Yeah.
When we talk to AMP platform team members, they first join, and we ask them, why'd you get into real estate? The answer is hardly ever for the money. It's on the list, but it's to be of assistance to people, to be of service to people. You just want to be helpful.
But sometimes when the pressures of life and
Oh,
finances
sure.
come in, you tend to get panicked and you do tend to focus on where's my next paycheck coming from. I need a paycheck right now. But real estate doesn't really work that way. You have to focus on the long game and building those
like being a
relationships.
farmer.
Yes, it is.
like growing
you
your
gotta plant
crops.
the seeds.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they gotta grow and come to fruition.
Yep.
Dana, you wanted to talk about as a mindset consistency in your communication with your sphere and
Absolutely. Kind of also dovetails with what Gina just said. You have to stay in contact with your sphere regardless if it's about real estate or not. It has
Yeah.
to be about everything. How's your family? How are the kids? What vacation plans do you have? When do you want to have coffee? You have to stay consistent with your family, friends, past clients, because it all comes back to you. I mean, if you find an agent that you saw or a client that you saw a few months ago or a few years ago, and you don't stay in contact with them, they drop off the face of the earth. Next thing you know, they're selling their house with somebody else because they forgot about you
Yep.
or you weren't out
You
there
let
enough.
them forget
So
about
you let
you.
them forget about you. So, I always make it about, just like you said, authentic. Just be authentic and stay in connection and be their friend, and they'll help you out. Whether they're selling a house, they may not be selling a house or wanting to buy a house, but they're going to refer someone to you.
they're
So,
gonna know people that are buying and
absolutely.
selling.
Stay in touch.
Everyone does.
Staying in the flow state. We talk about that a lot. Those are great. Mine today was being driven and being intentional. So just a mentality of knowing what your goals are and knowing what you got to do to get them done. And we talked about checklists a lot today, but having a checklist for that stuff, being intentional about setting those goals and completing those tasks to stay in touch with your sphere, to focus on your relationships and not your commissions. What was your question there?
What was my question?
What was
The
your
June
motivation?
reset,
June
maybe
reset,
maybe
yeah.
it's the June reset.
Yeah.
To be intentional about that. I'm sure. Do you have that written down somewhere, or do you just when you see June on the calendar, you know it's time to take a reset?
It's quarterly actually, but we're coming up on June, so the June reset. I think all of this, we'll just capture it this way, and you be driven and intentional. Our world is full of human beings, of course, and many of us enjoy being held accountable. Many of us do not. And when you're in real estate, you are held accountable. And so the June reset, being intentional, communicating with clients, focusing on relationships, all of that brings accountability into your life. And as a business owner, accept that responsibility. Be able to be held accountable. Don't run from it.
Awesome. Well, guys, this has been season 2, episode 3. We had Dana and Gina here today with us. Thank you both so much for coming
Thank
and
you.
joining us.
For
And
inviting.
please come back as soon as you can. Next episode if you want to. We've got a full season ahead of us still of episodes to come. Did you guys have fun today?
Absolutely.
that was fun.
Yeah, it's a great time.
Awesome. Well, go ahead, Mark.
Great studio too, by the way.
Yes, Stephen, this
Thanks
place
to
is
Steve.
great. Thank you,
Sycamore
Sycamore.
Studios is amazing.
We love you, man. Any feedback, Stephen? No.
Not too much. I appreciate the compliment. Hey, you can leave a Google review on your.
There you go.
Hey, look at that.
I
Guys,
had it on my list.
thanks for joining us on the AMP podcast, season 2, episode 3. We appreciate it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's on all of your social media channels. We appreciate you being here, and we look forward to seeing you next time. Thank you, Justin. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Everyone.